Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my Michael Schumacher Formula 1 2020 career mode. We are at the Barcelona Grand Prix as we start to head into the, as they call it, the European season of the Formula 1 calendar, despite the fact we end up going to Canada in a couple of weeks, which last time I checked wasn't part of Europe. But anyway, Barcelona, where we're hoping for another strong performance from the car and from Michael, following our fourth place finishes in China and Zandvoort. We're hoping for a good performance here because with the next races being in Monaco and Azerbaijan, circuits that I really don't like and don't do very well at, the chances of a good performance in those two races is almost nil. So we need to maximise our time here. Like I say, the following two races are probably going to be a disaster, and then at least we've got a sequence of 7 good races after that where I can try and pull things back a bit. But we're here in Barcelona. I'm going to show a little bit of my setup that I was trying to run.
We have a number of programs to run.
It was something that I tweaked over the course of the whole weekend right up until qualifying
for
one.
both the race and factory teams, so they're well worth running.
Trying to find the best way of getting this car to work for me. We will see how we go. Tyre pressures is obviously also a big thing. One of the big things I did notice in this Barcelona Grand Prix weekend was the fact that the tyre wear on the left side of the car was
I know it's tempting to focus
much greater than that on the right. I'm still not sure how to balance that out from a setup point of view. I have asked on several videos for people to give me some information on how to do that, on how to even out tyre wear, but no responses yet, no comments have been left from people, so I'm kind of persevering on with that at this point.
We're 14th in the speed trap, 196.5.
As you can see, my wing angles have been greatly climbing as I've been trying to do free practice. I haven't really found a comfortable setup yet. The car still has a tendency to get away from me a little bit in some places. I've been trying. The one thing I didn't want to do was go for a high downforce setup. That would then make me slow. But it's trying to get that stability, you know, the stop the car spinning out of some of the corners. But we're not going to be able to do a lot of running in practice too, because unfortunately it's raining. So I've actually had to delay quite a bit of my practice program stuff until P3 and practice 3, where as I say, I don't like doing a lot of running in practice 3 because of the wear on the race gearbox and the race engines. I would much sooner save the wear and tear. Not that we've got bad wear and tear. In fact, this is the 6th race of the season, so my gearbox will be changed after this race with no penalty.
Join us again as the rest of the weekend unfolds.
Those two managed to crash in practice 2. Charles on his 2nd lap of his practice, George on his 4th, so those two took each other out. Brilliant. Love it when the AI crash.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. You really went all out in practice today. Are you testing new components?
Yeah, we're trying to raise the aero department morale a bit with some of these comments, because obviously I have got R&D upgrades in the pipeline that I don't want them to fail. I don't want them to do badly at. I would like them to get as many R&D upgrades out as possible.
Well, that's everything.
Same with the chassis department. Any chance I get to give them a bit of an ego tickle, I will do so, because again, they're the more important upgrades at the minute for the car. One of the things I have noticed from doing some modding of the game over the last couple of days, and again with the latest patch coming out on Monday, had to reinstall a lot of my mods like the realistic damage mod and that. When I was checking the Haas files, when I was applying the realistic damage mod to the Haas car,
And with all the
I
cars now
noticed
over the line,
in their
let's see our
upgrade
top three again.
research and
Hamilton,
development
Schumacher,
tree,
and Charles Leclerc. What an incredible
but
practice session.
the
fun
chassis
doesn't
weight
stop here,
reduction,
though.
if you do
Join
all
us
the
again
weight
as the rest of the
reductions
weekend
in the
unfolds.
Haas tree, it lowers the car's weight by 32 kilos. 32 kilo weight reduction. That is a lot. So we're definitely going to be wanting to do that. Compared to someone like Mercedes, who if you do all the Mercedes weight reduction, it only lowers the car's weight by about 4 kilos. Shows you how heavy the Haas is. You know, if we're potentially 32 kilos heavier than the Mercedes at this moment in time sitting on the track, that's a lot of extra weight to be hauling around. So we're going to need to reduce that. And one of the things I have also been toying with, speaking of while we're doing this mod talk, I've been thinking of adding a tyre mod that is on race department, which changes all the tyre compounds to make their wear a little bit more severe. The tyres tend to wear out a little bit faster. The temperatures also fluctuate a lot more over the course of a lap, which can cause some, you know, some interesting incidents with cars spinning and losing control if the tyres cool down too much and stuff. As well as what it also does is change the performance. It puts more of a performance gap between the different compounds. So, you know, softs have obviously a much bigger pace, speed over the mediums, but wear out a heck of a lot faster. The mediums obviously are a lot quicker than the hards, but wear out quicker. And again, with the changes that the mod makes, it does lead to apparently quite a varying pit stop strategy. No races are guaranteed one stop anymore. Nobody, you know, and in a lot of races you're going to be doing 2 or even 3 stops. And from what I've seen, reading a lot of the comments, a lot of races have 3 stops, especially where the cars are using the soft tyres, because they only last for a few laps, much like real life. And I'm thinking of installing that just to spice things up a bit and create a bit of variability in the races by having strategy play a bigger part. But again, that's something I would offer up to the people watching the video. If you want to see me install and use a mod like that, let me know. Otherwise I'll carry on using the vanilla tyre wear and tyre data that the game ships with. Right, we're fitting engine 2 for the car at this point. Still, like I say, the gearbox isn't too badly worn at this point in time, as we're about to head into qualifying. So we get through this weekend, we get a new gearbox for Monaco. However, although we get a new gearbox for Monaco, I'm tempted not to put it in the car for Monaco, because again, I just don't think I can finish that race. I think I will crash around Monaco. It's not my favourite circuit, so rather than risk damage and wear to the brand new gearbox, I might as well write off the existing gearbox and save the new gearbox for maybe Azerbaijan. And just making a few last minute tweaks to the setup. You can see how it's changed a little bit over the course of the practice sessions, how the numbers have differed. I'm slowly dialing it into where I want it. I'm just going to drop the rear tyre pressures a little bit to make them a little bit happier. I'm also trying to, as you can see, the left tyres, lower the pressures on those to try and stop the massive wear difference that I was noticing all through practice. I mean, literally, the left side of the car wears 20% higher than the right. There's like a 20% wear difference at the end of my stint on a tyre between the left and the right. So if the left tyres are at 70% wear, the right side is only at 50. And of course, as we go out into session 1 of qualifying, into Q1, our team does its usual great job of putting me in traffic. I just need to create a bit of a space and a bit of a gap. Cars behind. A car ahead, should I say. I don't want to get too distracted by it. Definitely kept that flat through turn 3. Didn't keep it flat through there. Through turn 9, had to use the brakes a bit. I think it's a Williams we're catching, which is always bad. Yeah, Williams, or is it an AlphaTauri? Hard to tell in this game sometimes from a distance, and especially as I'm obviously the preview window in Sony Vegas as I'm recording this commentary is a lot smaller. Whoops, there's a mistake. Let's flash that back. A very rare flashback, but this is one of the areas on this circuit that I haven't managed to tame. The spin out of this corner here. The back end gets away from you there if you let it. You know, if you've really got to be late on the power. You've really got to hold off putting that acceleration down. Playing with all the settings, playing with all the MFD. I don't know why I'm not just pressing start and return to garage at this point.
Understood, stopping this lap.
Am I really going to drive all the way back to the pits? That makes not much sense. I suppose I'm charging the battery up ready for Q2 because I'm not going to be running again in Q1.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty.
Yeah, I don't very often use flashbacks, and I haven't used flashbacks in this series so far, you will have noticed. However, when I get a spin like that one, that's BS. I call crap on that, because, you know, you've got traction control enabled. Now we're coming to the pits. We'll box for Jeff and the team. We'll get ready for Q2 and see what surprises have happened in Q1. See who's getting dropped. Probably the Williams, the AlphaTauris, and hopefully one of the Alphas, or might possibly be Grosjean, my teammate. He could probably be in that initial drop zone because he tends not to do very well in qualifying, does Grosjean. I hope the team replaces him at the end of the year. As we come to the end of Q1, some noticeable names at the top there.
Our best lap so far is a 1 minute 17.2.
And Lewis Hamilton is down in 20th place. He hasn't set a time in this session with less than a minute to go in the session. Lewis Hamilton has not posted a lap time and is sat in 20th place. What has happened to Mercedes? And what has happened to Lewis?
20th in the speed trap, 204.6 miles per hour.
So we're last in the speed trap doing 204 miles an hour. Wow. Just wow. Every car on this track is faster than us in the speed trap. Every car is faster than me in the speed trap. It's a good job they don't do the grid positions based on the speed trap then, isn't it? Otherwise, we would be last. I'm glad they take the lap time, the speed over the whole lap into consideration. Yeah, what the heck happened to Lewis? Why is he down in 20? He's not set a time. He's out of qualifying. No time set. Terminal damage. Did not finish. Did he crash? Did Lewis Hamilton crash on his out lap or his flying lap? Must have done. To not set a time, that is, now that's a shock. That is a big shocker. No Lewis Hamilton in the Barcelona Grand Prix. Wow. Right, we're going to go out and set a time on mediums. We are going to do the strategy this time. I'm going to try and do a medium, hard, one-stop strategy in this race. Because I've got a feeling the AI are going to be two-stopping. They're going to go soft, soft, and then hard, or soft, soft, medium if they can stretch it far enough. So if I can do one less pit stop, that's a big time saving for me and should get me a few places. And thankfully here in Q2, the team have not put me in any traffic. Tell you what, it's not quite as planted through that long turn 3 on the mediums as it was on the softs. Came very close to running off track there. And I ran off track there. I mean, I don't necessarily need to set a... I just need to be in the top 10, you know. That's all. We just need to qualify in P10 to start on these tyres, you know. Just need to set a... we need to get through to Q3 on these tyres. Job done. Because obviously Q3 will determine where we start then on the grid. So this lap doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be the cleanest of laps, it just needs to be good enough to get us into Q3, which I think it should be. And as we go through the session, we are in 6th place as we're coming up to the end of the Q2. In fact, am I going out again? I can't be going out again, surely. This must be Q3. Yeah, this is Q3. So I obviously got through Q2, and then we've gone into Q3, and I've decided to go out near the end of the session. Well, I did one banker lap, which has put me in 6th place, and then I figured I'd go out at the end of the session for one more go. Seeing as we're not going to be using the soft tyres, I figured I'd use the extra set of softs, do one extra run at the end of Q3. Hopefully with the track evolution at its highest. See if we can't bump up our grid position. I mean, P6 is not a bad place to start, don't get me wrong, but after the last 2 Grand Prix, I kind of want to start higher. I do want to start nearer the front. towards those front 2 rows would be nice. I don't think I'm going to improve. I think it's one of them laps whereby you're not going to improve your time. And I'll probably lose a lot of time through this final section. Yeah. Did not hook that last bit up. And as I come round the start and finish straight, I actually go from being green to red. So, did not improve, sadly. That was a wasted lap. In qualifying 6th. It is what it is. The good thing is, we qualified to start the race on mediums, which means we're going to be running a one-stop race strategy.
Finished, it's time to remind
whereas everybody around us is going to be on 2-stop minimum.
With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
And it's also interesting to note there that Charles Leclerc, yet again, fails to get into Q3 in his Ferrari. So you've had the shocker of Lewis not making it out of Q1 because he crashed, and then the Ferrari of Leclerc doesn't get into Q3 yet again. I don't think Leclerc's been in Q3 at any point this season. It's a bit of a weird one, that. It's like half the Ferrari garage has had the 2020 performance update applied to them, whereas Vettel seems to be getting away without having the real life data applied to him. Because Vettel still keeps performing very well, which is the complete opposite of real life. But let's go into the race. Let's see what happens, you know. Again, I'm looking forward to what is potentially going to be another good start from me. I've been starting really well. Really well.
Saw Max Verstappen win on his first ever appearance with the Red Bull team in 2016. This after the dramatic coming together of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg on the first lap. Will we see more moments for the scrapbook here today? It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Now, can I talk to you about Sebastian Vettel? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack.
That's good news for me then. That boosts me up the grid a couple of places.
To make up for the compromised start.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Schumacher,
Albon got a grid penalty
Perez,
as well then.
And Stroll, Ocon, Gasly, Leclerc, and Kimi Raikkonen. Ricciardo, Albon, they've taken a grid penalty. Daniel Kvyat and Vettel, Giovinazzi, Norris, Romain Grosjean, and
Lando's a bit disappointing as well in this season because he's not qualifying at all very well in the McLaren. He's well down the field every race in qualifying. I would like to see an improvement from Lando.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Right, we're going with a personalised strategy. We're going to add some extra fuel, about 2 laps worth, just so we got plenty of rich mix to run with at the race start. And like I say, we are going for the medium and hard approach, purely because tyre wear seems really bad here, especially on that left side of the car. I think turn 3 and turn 9 just killed the tyres on this car. But we have got a great start again. My starts have been brilliant, and we took in behind Bottas. Oh, we gave him room, we didn't shove him. No contact there. Daniel Ricciardo is out of the session. And we've got a virtual safety car on the opening lap.
Maintain a positive
So,
delta. Drop your speed. Our delta is too low, and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Danny Rick didn't make it out of, didn't make it past turn 1 then. Poor Danny Rick.
VSC ending. We're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
I really suck at managing deltas. Whenever there's a virtual safety car or a safety car, I think I lose out because I'm very bad at driving to a very small green delta. I'm either, you know, plus a second and a half, 2 seconds in the green, or I'm in the red and having to hit the brakes because I'm about to get penalised. And I think it lets, like, Billy Bottas here get away from me a bit.
We're looking good so far.
We've used all our ERS on the first lap. It's not great. Most important thing is just to try and stay with Bottas. We don't have the pace to overtake him, but what we can do is keep pushing him so he doesn't go into any kind of tyre management mode, because he's on the softs and we want him to break those as quickly as possible, so he has to pit, make an early stop. A bit like all the soft runners, like Verstappen behind us, Sainz, Perez, all them guys. We want them to pit as soon as possible, and then we can obviously go long in nice clear air. There goes the cone. You've got to remove that. It's like obligation. You're obliged to do it. Coming up to start lap 3, and Verstappen peels into the pits. He's already decided after just 2 laps he doesn't like his soft tyres. So Max is the first of the front runners to box. We've got Schumacher, like I say, we've got Bottas in front of us, who we're just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing to mean he can't save his tyres. We want him to wear his tyres out and box. Otherwise, everything's going to plan at the moment for me. Car feels nice-ish to drive, despite its heavy fuel load. Still running rich mix, obviously. Which we'll be doing for a couple of laps, just to keep the pressure on Billy Bottas ahead of us. Flat through there. I was just having a listen. I mean, that must put some excessive load into those tyres. That's why they don't last very long. Oh, trip through the gravel.
We're a +1 lap of extra fuel. Fuel target +1.
Yep, Jeff, noted. That's why I'm running in rich mix, trying to burn it, get the performance, get some extra speed in this opening phase of the Grand Prix. And then we'll be dropping the rich mix down fairly soon. Good thing is we're keeping track on Bottas. He's only 1.5 to 1.7 seconds up the road. He's not pulling massively ahead of us. We are keeping him, you know, we're keeping him honest. We're not letting him go into management mode. He's still got to work. Because at this point else he would be purely managing. He would be managing his tyres, his engine and everything. He'd just be out cruising. Because, you know, obviously he's got quite a gap to the guy. He's got, you know, about 6 seconds gap to Sainz. Which is a comfortable gap on lap 5. So we just need to say we've got to keep him honest. Can't afford to let him take it easy. But at the same time, I do need to start getting some cleaner laps in because I'm a bit ragged. I'm a bit rough and ready around some of these corners. And in fact, Bottas has gained about a second now. He's pulled out 2.7 seconds. So, whilst I've been scruffy, he's been gapping. That's a bad corner because now I'm going to run wide and have to lift. Do not hit the curb on the inside of turn 3. That's stupid. Completely puts you in the wrong line. Around about lap 6, we will probably be expecting to see some of the front runners starting to pit now. Because I know when I did a run in practice 1 on the soft tyres, I managed 8 laps before I got a front left puncture. I only managed 8 laps on a brand new set of softs before they were done. Failed. Worn. And these guys have done qualifying on these tyres, so I can't imagine they'll be doing a lot more. In fact, Bottas has pitted. He has pitted. The end of lap 6. And I imagine he'll now be followed by the likes of Sainz. Maybe not Sainz, because Sainz is on the medium too, but maybe Perez. Yeah, Perez is pitting. Leclerc's on the mediums too. Stroll's on the softs. Albon's on the mediums. Okay. A couple of guys then maybe trying for the 1 stop as well.
Verstappen has just put up the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, Verstappen's a bit out of place now in the running of things because he boxed very early. He's kind of put himself right in the traffic. But we've got nice clean air in front of us now. We're just running. Time to focus on some good laps. Bit slow through there. Really don't know how to tackle those corners. If I hit the corners and try to go over them, it just unsettles the car and spins you. With the suspension settings, the stiffness and the ride height, you can't drive over the corners.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
Really, Jeff? On lap 8, with a set of mediums, I would expect these tyres to go a bit more. But obviously Jeff bases information on the highest wearing tyre, which is going to be that front left. And obviously if it's about 20% higher than the front right, it's going to make Jeff some commentary a bit iffy. One of the reasons why I run with the MFD open a lot more in this race than I do normally, because I really am looking at that the tyre wear, because I haven't been able to get on top of it in the practice sessions and through qualifying. There we go. Coming up to start lap 10. Interesting that the car feels now like I've entered that kind of phase where the tyres now just feel really nice all of a sudden. They just suddenly clicked and they want to give me lots of grip. They're also, the car seems a little bit more responsive in the corners as well, all of a sudden as well. Strange that, a third of the way into the Grand Prix,
window, you'll be on the hards.
The handling and everything just changes like that.
Okay,
and the car suddenly feels a lot nicer to drive.
5/10.
Like I'm not getting as much understeer through there. And I'm able to plant it all the way through turn 3. Didn't run quite as deep into turn 4. Didn't take that corner very well that time. Sometimes for that corner I get a little bit indecisive as to what I'm supposed to do. Sometimes I brake when really I should just lift off the throttle and then apply it again. Just needs to, that corner just needs a little bit of a lift. Gasly is out of the session.
No
safety car.
Reduce your pace.
Tell you what, we're going to box, Jeff.
Positive as we form up. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
I'm trying to tell the pit crew I'm coming in, but it wouldn't let me open the radio. But everybody's coming in behind me. And because of that, I was actually quite a bit slow in that pit entry because I was trying to do the radio. But I tell you what, that was
exit now.
Almost. You know, if that safety car had come out a second later, I'd have been past the pit entrance, and I wouldn't have been able to have dived in. But that's worked very well for me because I've been able to pit under the safety car and maintain the lead of the race. And now I'm on the hard tyres going to the end.
Safety car, you're leading, so don't pass it. Stay behind the safety car.
So this is even better for tyre wear. A lap or two behind the safety car will be fine for me. Guarantees we can get these tyres to the end of the race. I might be a bit vulnerable at the restart though, because these tyres are going to go very cold very quickly, and then it'll take me a couple of laps to fire them back up. And all the guys behind me have boxed and put on soft tyres. Sainz, Leclerc, Albon, they're all on the softs. Billy Bottas has strapped on a set of the mediums. So he's still two-stopping. He's still two-stopping, Billy Bottas. Because he can't get there, because he boxed on lap 6 for the... So he can't go to the end on the set of mediums, stopping on lap 6. So he's coming in again at some point. Yeah, all the guys that boxed behind me, they all fitted soft tyres again. They went from mediums to softs. Well, that's not going to work, guys. That's not going to work. You've just committed to a 2-stop race, everybody. And you know I'm 1-stopping, so... Strange strategy calls there. The safety car, for the first time this season, might have actually just completely worked in our favour. Because I think the other teams have kind of slightly messed up here with their strategy.
We're coming up to the safety car now. Do not pass it. You are the leader. Follow the safety car.
You don't want me to sling a cheeky overtake round the outside, Jeff? Is that what you're saying? You don't think I can overtake the safety car? You don't think I'm good enough? Come on, Jeff. Much as I like that Mercedes car and I think it's really nice, and I'd love to have one in real life, it's no match for a Formula 1 car.
Okay, the safety car is coming in this lap. We'll be pacing the field in Sector 3. Make sure to respect the delta until the safety car is in the pit lane.
We're the pace car now then. We're de facto safety car. Let's see if we can get this restart right and not get overtaken.
Green flag.
So, Rich Mix, ERS fully deployed.
The car behind is dropping back by about 3/10 a lap.
Let's go for it. Ooh, I'll tell you what, I broke super early for that corner because of the cold tyres. And that's let Sainz come steaming right up behind me because those boys are on the soft, so they're going to get their tyre temps up a lot faster than me. Whereas I'm going to be a bit flipping like Bambi on ice on these first few laps. I tell you what, if I can keep them behind me for 2 or 3 laps, those soft tyres ain't going to last, as we know from Billy Bottas pitting on lap 6, Max Verstappen pitting on lap 2. The soft tyre is the wrong tyre for this track. And those guys are going to suffer. The longer I can, if I don't let them overtake me, can keep them there for the next lap or two, they're going to be in trouble. Because, like I say, they would have been better off fitting another set of mediums, honestly. If they were pitting, if they had tyres available. I just wanted to have a bit of a look down the inside, but I moved to the inside to cover him off. And as a result of that, Leclerc has got past the McLaren. Not sure if that's a good or bad thing for me, really. I'd much rather have the McLaren holding up the Ferrari than the Ferrari trying to chase me down. Because the Ferraris have shown they are quick in the race. They are quick in race pace. In race trim, they are quite decent. No? They might not qualify very well, but they get the job done in the race. Let's But honestly, they are not gaining on me at this moment in time. They're not using their soft
the
tyres.
stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
They're not maximising their brand new soft tyres. And I'm obviously still using Rich Mix, because I obviously went into lean mode when the safety car came out. So I've got some Rich Mix, and obviously I'm using ERS on these laps as well. So that's giving me a little bit of extra speed that I probably wouldn't have normally. That was a better corner. There's only a little bit of a lift there on the throttle. But that Ferrari is getting close. You've pulled out, even though Clerk's pulled out 2 seconds on Sainz. Just keeping him. Oh, he's in DRS. He's in DRS. Gonna have DRS.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. The car behind is dropping back by about 3/10 a lap.
Does that mean Leclerc's tyres have gone? Could be. Could be
We've
that
pretty
he's
much
already.
burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon.
Could be
Don't
starting
wait
to
too
feel
long to turn the engine down.
the heat. It's unusual as well that we're doing a Spanish Grand Prix in the sun. It normally always rains in the race when I do a Spanish Grand Prix. So the fact that we've got sunshine and heat and high temperatures is very unusual for the race, and I think the cars are suffering for that. Maybe me on the hard tyres is the play. Let
Okay, clear.
close right up in there though. He's got DRS again, so I'm going to have to use Rich Mix and
Okay, the
overtake.
safety car is out. The safety car is out. We need to form up at a reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive.
Second safety car. Okay.
Roman is in for his stop. Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
Yeah, I really struggle to do this whole safety car pacing business. I struggle to just keep the delta just green. I get too slow and then I get too fast. I yo-yo. between too fast and too slow. Like now I'm second too slow. And then pretty soon in a couple of moments I'm going to be a second too fast probably. See? Nearly a second too fast now. I wish there was like a button that you could press to engage like
Drop your speed, our delta
safety
is too
car
low
mode,
and we risk a penalty. Slow
which
your
limits
pace
you,
immediately.
it automatically limits your speed. That would be great for me. Try and find the safety car. I don't know where he is. We don't have to maintain a delta now though, so we can go a bit faster, which always strikes me as a bit weird that all of a sudden we can now speed.
Approaching the safety car, you're leading, so don't pass it. Stay behind the safety car.
We are staying behind the safety car, Jeff, don't worry. Although Bert Mylander's going to need to get a bit of a wriggle on because he's a little bit slow and I don't want to lose the heat from the tyres. Although I don't really know how much these boys behind me have got left in their softs. Tyres are going cold. Everything's going cold. Brakes are going cold. Just trying to see how if I can slow the AI up enough that they could potentially crash into one another. I know that's a bad tactic to employ, but you know, going through a chicane like that, you just drive through it really slow, and maybe if someone's not paying attention, they might just crash into the car in front of them. You know,
We're looking at some gearbox wear, trying to keep your number of shifts to a minimum.
You've got to try anything you can when you're in the race lead, anything to give you an advantage and keep that position. Like I say, if I can cause a bit of a pile up in one of the corners, then you've got to try it. It might not be very sportsmanlike, but you know, Michael Schumacher wasn't the most sporting person, was he?
Approaching the safety car, you're leading, so don't pass it. Stay behind the safety car.
Yes. We won't overtake Dirt.
Safety car is in this lap. Safety car in this lap. You will be controlling the pace on the restart. Keep it steady until the safety car has reached the pit lane.
Right, I'm going to see if I can do this restart a bit better this time. I'm going to see if I can back them up a little bit. Again, into that chicane, but then I'm going to bolt out of the chicane a lot earlier. I'm not going to lead them on to start and finish straight like I did first restart, because we obviously got quicker cars behind us this time. So very slow through here. And now floor it. Now floor it. Floor it. Catch him sleeping. Rich mix. ERS.
Green flag. We're leading our teammate by 5.7 seconds.
Tyres are going to be cold. First corner, but we're going to be late on the brakes. Again, we just need to keep these cars behind us for a lap or two. So their softs aren't going to last much longer. Most of these guys are going to be boxing. As we're nearly 2/3 of the way through the Grand Prix. We are still holding a race lead, and so far, I have to say, the safety car has been our best friend. He's come out at just the right times to help us. But I tell you what, that first one, I was just in the right place. Like I say, if it had deployed a second later, I wouldn't have been able to have pitted. I would have been past the pit entry, so that was one of those moments where it was just reaction. Safety car and then in. You know, team wasn't ready for me, but they did a good job. Like I say, everybody else has boxed behind me. Now we've got Ocon, Stroll and Lewis Hamilton, who has made his way up from 20th on the grid to now running in 4th place ahead of Ocon, behind Ocon and Stroll. Not guys you would expect to see running in podium places. Norris is up there as well. Norris is another guy. He doesn't qualify well in the season, apparently, but he has good race results, which is kind of the opposite of real life, because Norris obviously in real life qualifies very well, but then has very poor races. Doesn't capitalise on that qualifying. But yeah, nice to see the two Brits, 4th and 5th at the minute. I imagine Lewis is on a bit of a charge though.
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled.
He's on the medium tyres, everybody else is on the hards. So did he start on the hard tyre and switch to mediums maybe? Has he run a different strategy to is he like running the opposite strategy to me? Maybe. But yeah, 10 laps to go in this race. So far, the strategy is working very well for me.
We're not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix too soon.
Fastest lap. And Hamilton has now dispatched Lance Stroll. Moved himself up into 3rd place. I imagine he will be homing in on Ocon very quickly. Tell you what, if Hamilton gets past Ocon, he's only 7 seconds behind. Could he potentially give us a bit of a challenge towards the end of the Grand Prix? If Hamilton's got the bit between his teeth, he could be a bit of a contender yet for a race victory here. Safety cars have definitely helped him out after his bad grid placing. And starting the race last because he crashed. I mean, when did you ever see Lewis Hamilton crash out of qualifying? When did you last see Lewis in real life? This is. When did he last crash out of qualifying and not make it out of Q1? Couple of seasons
Gap
back.
to teammate behind is 13.0 seconds.
Was it Austria or Germany where it happened, where his car broke down and he was trying to push it back to the pits, and the stewards were like, no, the marshals were like, no, Lewis, stop, pack it in, pack it in. But I'll tell you what, we've seen some good comeback drives in the last couple of races from different drivers. I mean, Vettel obviously had that great one, coming from, what was it, P12 on the grid to take the victory. But Lewis Hamilton's like, hold my beer. Anything he can do, I can definitely do a whole lot better. So I'm going to start last and I'm going to win a race. Potentially. Probably. Depends how long it takes him to dispatch Ocon. If he can get past Ocon, because obviously laps are running out now. There's only 8 to go. And he's 8 seconds behind, so he needs to gain a second a lap.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Oh, there's a mistake. There's a mistake. That's going to give them a little bit of time. Gonna let them close in a bit. That's basically handed them guys a second. Probably looking at their times too closely. Instead of just focusing on what I'm doing, I'm probably starting to look at them, and I'm starting to get a little bit reactive. I'm probably starting to, instead of just keep doing what I've been doing so well for most of this race, I'm now probably trying to pick the pace up and be a bit more aggressive with my driving when I didn't really need to. Sometimes slow and steady is actually the faster way around the circuit. Less error prone. Hamilton has overtaken Ocon. That's not good. That's not good. That means Hamilton has got 6 laps, well, 5 laps at the end of this one to catch me. It's going to be close, but we know that Mercedes is a beast. I'm actually getting nervous. I'm actually getting like, a strange feeling in my stomach because I'm really invested in this race now. Been such a good drive from us, you know. The safety cars and everything have just completely unsettled this Grand Prix, plus the tyre wear issues that everyone's having means that we've been in pretty much first place, completely out of position for the whole race. Been leading the race pretty much the whole time, but now we are just starting to see the first little cracks that maybe Lewis is going to spoil the party. Lewis is going to ruin my day. Still 5 seconds behind though, that's not bad. 4 seconds, just under 5 seconds now, with 4 laps to go. Can't afford any mistakes.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
I'm wondering at what stage Lewis is going to enable party mode on that Mercedes. Surely if he's got anything left in the tank, he needs to be deploying and using it now. If he sets a fastest lap, we'll know he's turned everything up to 11 on his Mercedes. Right now, I've got fastest lap of the race, which I'm really surprised about. I would have thought there would have been quicker guys than me. Well, that was a bit slow through there. Gap's now under 4 seconds. We'll soon be seeing him in that rear view mirror. We'll soon be seeing him. Tell you what, if he gets into the slipstream, he's going to definitely close up on us. Right, 2 laps to go. Hamilton's now under 3 seconds. 2.5. Is he gonna get me? Is he gonna get me? I hope
There's
not.
only 1 lap of fuel
We
remaining.
deserve this. We deserve this victory. We've raced a very good race. We got the strategy right. Safety cars to perfection. Oh, I see him. I see the Mercedes. I can see him in the rearview mirror. He's going to be close to us on this last lap.
This is your final lap of the race. We're leading our teammate by 20.3 seconds.
Here he comes. Just over a second. Any mistake now and he's got me. Here he comes. Oh, I'll tell you what, Lewis, I love you, man. You're the greatest Formula 1 driver ever. But please, just let me have this race, please. You don't need to win this one. You can let me. You're going to win the next 2 races, because I'm not. You know, Monaco and Azerbaijan, you can have those. Let me have this one, please, Lewis. Please. Race victory.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
The first ever victory for Haas, and of course driver of the day goes to Lewis. Aston starting last on the grid and making it up to the second place.
Fantastic victory for Haas today.
Gunther's happy.
Anthony Davidson, a resounding
Haas's
victory
first
today.
ever
What set
Formula
them
1
apart
win.
from the rest?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have
Michael's
happened without
92nd
it,
of
but
his
there's
career.
No question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
The quality and fantastic result of the Haas team will have been noticed by everyone else out there today. You can see why everyone's taking them so seriously. These drivers will be hot property by the end of the season.
Look at that, look. Hey, 14-time world champions there. 2 drivers with 14 world titles between them. I know somebody will probably correct me in the comment and say, no, this has only got 6, but, you know, this year's pretty much guaranteed to be his.
Top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender
Grosjean
for
got up to
driver of the
7th.
day?
Well, for me, it's
Not
got to be
bad.
Lewis Hamilton. The multiple world champion may be the boring choice at this point, but you can't
Bottas,
argue that
Billy
he's a
Bottas
driver
down there in
deserving of his
12th.
reputation.
It's time to see how things are
2
shaping up
stops.
in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue
Most
to
of them did
extend
2
their lead.
stops,
There was
actually.
also
Even
a
Lewis
strong
technically
showing from
did
the
2
McLaren team
stops.
today, as they make their way
Some
up
of them
the
did
standings.
3, Giovinazzi,
Well, that was certainly an
and then of
incredible
course
weekend of
the guys
racing.
that didn't
Be sure to
finish,
join myself and Ant
Vettel,
for
Gasly
more
and
exciting
Ricciardo.
Formula 1 action soon.
I think Vettel and Gasly suffered, was it mechanical failures? Their cars broke down? Yeah, mechanical. Ricciardo suffered a crash with Giovinazzi in the first corner, which took out Ricciardo. So that's why Danny didn't finish the race. Vettel, 17 laps in, I'm assuming his engine failed, and Gasly the same. Tends to be engine failures for these boys while they retire.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win? You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Our power advantage, yeah.
Well, looks like your luck has changed. Things went a lot better than last weekend, didn't they?
Well, last weekend we were 4th, which wasn't bad. And P1
You're
today,
beating all
safety cars.
expectations. Would would you say we all underestimated you?
And again, keep rubbing the chassis department's ego, because we want R&D upgrades. We're not going to get any for Monaco, and we're probably not going to get any for Azerbaijan because of how long it's taking the parts to come through the factory. But it would be nice going into France with some new parts on a track that is very power dependent. So again, if we could maybe get some weight off and get some drag off the car, we could be quick there, because obviously we've got a good engine. We have got a very good engine. We just need to sort out the bit that the engine sits inside, you know, to get the best out of it. We've got some durability upgrades coming as well, which are from the actual like peak seasonal ones. But yeah, we're going to be heading into the Monaco Grand Prix, where I don't know how that weekend's going to go. It's not my favourite circuit at all, so be sure to check out that video in a couple of days' time. Goodbye, everybody.